.301 was your carry total last year, if I remember right. Is that a nice number? How'd you feel when the year was done with that total?
My body felt great, man. I didn't go into the off season really battling anything, really. So I would say like last year, maybe like another year was probably the best like whole like season I felt after a season. So I felt pretty good.
I know you were really hungry to join this team and chase something big last year. After you got a taste of the big playoff atmosphere and the big game atmosphere, how much are you itching to run it back and do it again and take it even further?
I would say a lot. I mean, obviously, this is every year it's a new team. We got new goals and things like that. But I feel like I left a lot on the table. I feel like I had a good year, but I feel like I still left a lot on the table. So for me, man, just trying to come in and chase that #1 spot and raise a Super Bowl at the end of the day. That's the only thing that's really on my mind.
You've used that phrase quite a bit this offseason, the left a lot on the table part.
Mm-hmm.
What on earth did you leave on the table? I mean, you gained like 1 million yards after contact, you broke 1 million tackles. What's on the table that you didn't get?
I had like 300 some yards called back, but not only that, like it was a few plays where I had some one-on-ones where if I made it that one-on-one made a person miss or broke that tackle, it was a difference between a 20-yard gain and a 60-yard gain. So them little things like that, I feel like that's what make people elite. So that's the thing I could try to come in this offseason and work on.
So what you do in the off season, Josh, you are in what, sixth, I guess, to all of a sudden take that jump to turn 20 into 60.
Yeah, I mean, really, for me, it's more just about being conscientious of it in the game. It's not giving up on plays. It's just when I'm tired, still giving maximum effort, things like that. So conditioning and things like that was like probably the biggest thing I came in trying to do, just trying to build the callus to be able to sustain a long season.
Josh, it's really clear how much you want to win. You make some headlines when you say that this team needs a #1 receiver this offseason. I wonder how that affects your dynamic with your teammates, receivers who are already here. Is that tough? Is that something a leader has to do and take on anyways?
Nah, man, it don't affect it at all. I mean, I talk to them guys one-on-one. We have real relationships. Even after the comment, I called them and talked to them. So for me, it's just about pushing them to want to be great. We got a lot of special guys in that room, like a lot of special guys in that room. So for me, it's about just trying to see them to see it in themselves and maximize, their opportunities because at the end of the day, that's what our team needs. So I believe in all them guys. I see the way they came in. I mean, if you've been seeing them in this OTA'S, the way that they've been working, you could tell I definitely lit a little fire under them. So I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I got the utmost respect, in this building from the guys, just about the way I go about going to work each day. So it's not a big deal. Something we definitely talked about, but yeah. We passed it now.
Did you get any blowback on that?
Not from them.
From any of the guys?
Nah. When we talked about it, like, I don't really want to too much say our conversation, but like Jay Reed was like, it's just motivation. So he was like, he said, I understand. We got to prove it. It's motivation. So, and that just is what it is.
They did draft a wide receiver in the first round, by the way. I don't want to be that guy, but
yeah. I didn't know what they was gonna do, but yeah.
Bill gave you some million numbers. I'm going to give you more specific ones. He finished with 1,329 rushing yards. Obviously, Saquon went over 2,000, but he had 1,328 yards before contact.
Yeah, I know.
You've seen this stat?
I know about it. Yeah.
Okay, so they bring in Banks. Obviously, Elton's moving to center. I know you don't fear and you enjoy contact, but is there a chance that maybe there's going to be a little more space for you and you can be even better behind this reconfigured line?
Yeah, I don't know exactly who's going to be in right now. Obviously, we're still working out the kinks, but I tell people all the time, man, if you take a good back and you give them space, that's what separates a lot of people. Like, if I'm getting touched 3 yards and I only got to worry about a linebacker or a safety, it's like I'm going to win a lot of those more than I lose. So I think that's the difference. Obviously, with Saquon, a special player like him with an elite line, it's like it's just going to make you look crazy, So obviously, we chasing that right now, and we're going to see how it play out.
Josh, along those same lines, you ran the ball last year 52% of the time. It's the most they ran it here since '03. Could you run it even more?
I do whatever they need to do.
Not just you, I mean, offensively.
Yeah. Offensively, I mean, man, it's kind of hard. I feel like for our team, it's kind of hard because we got to find a balance because we have so many playmakers. You know, like we have playmakers at wide receiver, obviously playmakers at tight end, and obviously running backs too. So it's like we got to find a perfect balance of, you know, getting everybody the ball, but also I feel like it's kind of like game day dependent too. Like whatever works is what we need to roll with, and I feel like that's what our coaches do a good job at. So yeah, we'll see how it play out.
Do you feel like you're seeing that buy-in from all the guys just the last couple of weeks?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I would say from this year to last year, like you could tell, like guys is definitely a little more hungry. Like you could tell, like guys is put in a lot of time in this off season to work on their craft, and they coming in, you know, hitting the ground running. So man, I'm excited for them. I'm excited to see what they do.
Josh, I know for you it was probably great to get back to the playoffs, but with the way things went in Philly, how much did that marinate this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, just to see, you know, them obviously the Eagles go win a Super Bowl, and in my opinion, we played them the best out of any team last year, and we was banged up a lot at the end, you know. So for me, seeing how close we are is just about figuring out what we need to do to take that next step to get over the hump. And like I said, it all comes down to putting in the work, putting in the time. You know, obviously we added some pieces on offense and defense, and hopefully we can all marry together and see how it goes.
Where do you feel like you guys rank among the NFC elite right now? I know 2 losses to the Eagles, 2 losses to Detroit, 2 losses to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right there in a lot of them. Where do you feel like
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say right now. You know, every year is a new year. Every team is different. But our objective always was to win the North. You know, win the North first. And that's still something that we take a lot of pride in. That's something that's been a big focus for us.
With last year being your first year here, is there an acclimation process for the offensive line to get used to you as a runner, or is it just the plays to play at the end of the day?
Man, I always tell them, shoot, just get on somebody, I'll make you right. Literally, I tell the line that, I tell the receivers that, I'm like, get in the way or get out the way, whatever, but I'll make you right. Just don't completely blow this off, you know, but I try my best to help them out. I feel like, you know, it's a partnership at the end of the day. I can't do my job without them, and, when they do their job, I make them look good. So, you know, that's a part of it.
Hey, Nate Hobbs is new to us, but he's not to you.
Yeah.
What do we need to know about him and what he'll bring to the defense?
Nate Hobbs, man, he's a dog. First off, he's a dog. He's a guy that's going to come in every day. He's going to work hard. You're going to see him on film. He might make mistakes, but he's going to be flying. Everywhere he's going, he's going to be flying. He's not afraid to hit. He can cover. He can run. So I think he's a good addition. I don't really know too much how they're using him on that side yet, but he's going to be a good addition to the team.
I feel like that's kind of an identity with what this team's looked to do. I mean, X is that on defense.
Yep.
You came in, you're a bulldozer on offense. I feel like you love that contact. You've said as much. They go get a really speedy first-round receiver. They bring in a guy that plays fast. Edrin's a fast guy. Is that an identity that you believe you've helped forge with your addition last year, and do you see that as something that makes a difference when it counts in big games? Yeah,
I mean, definitely people that understand, you know, the callous that it takes to play this game at a high level. People that understand that, you know, the game, you know, that's a lot of that come with playing fast, is understanding what to do and, you know, being able to read the offense or read the defense, and it helps you get a little bit of an edge, but also playing with a certain mentality. So I feel like we got a collective group of guys that have that mentality, that's willing to put the work in, but also is ballers. So I think it's going to be fun, man. I think it's going to be a good year.
Josh, we kind of got a feel for you as a leader, both in terms of being able to talk to everybody and then, like, you know, making Marshawn ride with you every day. So you did the one-on-one leadership too. Matt challenged Jordan after the season to be more of a vocal leader.
Yeah.
Does he seem any
He already
different
doing
to
it.
you?
He already doing it.
In what ways are you seeing that? Because he also still has to be true to himself.
Yeah.
And the way he is.
Yeah, I think Jordan, I think he's comfortable. You know, like, and what I mean by that is, like, he understands this offense in and out. He understands defenses. So now he's at the point where he can just play and really be who he is. But he definitely has been more vocal, whether it's at practice or even in the meetings, man. If he sees something he don't like, he's speaking up. And, you know, that's something me and him also talked about, you know, just about being a guy. You know, you the quarterback. You got to be that guy. And I'm not saying that he's not that guy, because he definitely is, but just on a more vocal level. But he's definitely stepped up a lot this year. I've definitely seen a big change in that.
You know, Jason mentioned Barkley a little while ago. Won the rushing title. Everybody considers him the best back in the league, yada, yada, yada. does that put a chip on your shoulder at all? But you do. It is kind of a different game because you're
Yeah.
just getting a lot of yards, like Jason mentioned before, contact, and you're not. So it's kind of apples and oranges if you're just looking at numbers.
I mean, if we're looking at numbers, since I've been in the league, it's not a running back besides Derrick Henry that's had more yards than me. So I'm not too much really into like comparing myself to people. I kind of try to play my own game, and every day I feel like I compete to be the best version of me. And even my best version might not be better than somebody, you know. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm gonna come in and put my best foot forward every time.
So it doesn't bother you that, I don't want to say you're overlooked because you're a Pro Bowler and all, but
Nah.
That doesn't bother you at all.
Nah, everything play out how it's supposed to.
Josh, just bigger picture though, what was that like for you to watch last year, kind of the rebound of the running back? Because, you know, a generation ago we had Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith and LaDainian Tomlinson or whoever. They were faces of the franchise, and we kind of saw that come back last year.
I mean, everything I feel like in football, really in life, it comes full circle. You know, so to see a lot of these guys starting to step up and, you know, being real big and key to their teams, I think it's big. I mean, I think it's big for, you know, the younger guys coming up that when, you know, it's time to get paid and things like that. But also, I think it's big for, you know, the guys that just want to showcase who they are and, you know, what their talent and things like that. And besides the quarterback, you know, we touch the ball more than anybody else on the field. So we have the most opportunities to, you know, create and be special. So I'm proud of a lot of these guys that stepped up and, you know, showed their versatility and play good.
Josh, does it, like, having talked to you about you and your dad watching old videos of all the guys Rob just mentioned, does it surprise you? I mean, it was 2 years ago that the Raiders were franchise tagging you because they didn't want to make a long-term commitment to a running back.
Yeah.
Is it surprising to you how it's turned as quickly as it has?
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, when I was coming out and it was my turn, like, I don't want to say nobody names, but a lot of guys before me that got paid on their second contract kind of like, it was kind of up in the air, you know, like what they did. Either they got hurt or they didn't play seasons and things like that. So that kind of affected everybody. But, like, now the guys, I mean, like you say, you look at Derrick Henry, you look at Saquon, you look at Joe Mixon. These guys are on their second, third contracts and they still balling. And I think that played a big factor into it.
Jordan just got done saying, and I'd asked him what he needs to do better. And he said, look, we're here to win a Super Bowl. I know you're 2 OTAs in, but can you feel that vibe in the room, and can you see kind of the seeds of a team that's capable of that?
You feel the urgency for sure. You feel the urgency. You feel a lot of the younger guys growing up. You could definitely feel them coming into their own. You could, like I said, you feel the urgency, the way that the guys are going about practicing and the details and the way that they on top of everything. Like, we've been, like I said, Jordan talks a lot more in the meeting. He asks guys questions, and guys' answers and how detailed their answers into what they're doing lets me know that, like, everybody locked in. Like, it's time, you know. And for me, I'm getting, you know, it's only so much left, so it's definitely time for sure.
You had to like it then when your GM used the term urgency in the offseason, right?
Oh yeah.
It kind of plays right into your.
Oh yeah,
doesn't it?
Definitely, because it's nothing worse than being on a team where you're rebuilding and it's like you have a feeling like, okay, I want to be the best, but like the best might not be good enough at this point. We don't have enough, you know, pieces and surrounded by enough guys. But with this type of locker room where we got pieces all over the board, offense and defense, it just makes that urgency get a little bit more intense, because the only thing that could really stop us is us. You know, if we lock in on the things that we need to do, we put in the work, then we'll reap the benefits.